Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Katie, aka Patronosaurus. This is my channel, Patronosaurus Reads, and I read. So today I've got a pretty sizable unhaul. I've kind of been hoarding books for a little while. Like, I have 3 fairly sizable canvas tote bags full of books that I'm going to be getting rid of. So let's just get into this. I don't remember entirely what all of these books are, because I put them in these bags like a whole week ago, and I've slept 7 whole times since then. So let's just look at these. I'm going to tell you why I'm getting rid of them. Spoiler alert, the main reason is because I didn't like them. Or maybe I did like them, but I don't see myself rereading them. So let's get into it. The first book I'm going to be getting rid of is Lock and Key by Sarah Dessen. This is one of her older books. It was fine. I don't think I'm in the Sarah Dessen mood anymore. Like, her books are just not... yeah. Her books are just not outstanding to me anymore. There's a couple that I think will always have an emotional place in my heart, but Lock and Key is not one of them. I read this for the first time recently, and it was published in 2008. Oh, I guess it's not as old. I swear I thought it was one of the ones that was published in like 2003. I mean, it's still 11 years old, and you can tell that it's not really modern. I mean, it's modern, but it's not. I mean, times have changed a lot in the past 11 years. So this book is not one I'm crazy about. I'm going to pass it along to someone else who will hopefully love it a lot more than I do. The next book I'm going to be getting rid of is Landline by Rainbow Rowell. I was so disappointed that I didn't love this. This was like a 3-star book for me. It was like, meh. Maybe Rainbow Rowell's adult books just aren't for me. I haven't tried Attachments yet, and I'm not sure that I want to because it seems very skeevy. But this is basically a magical telephone where this woman and her husband are having marital problems, and she keeps talking to him on the phone at her mom's house. And as it turns out, she's talking to her husband from the past and not the current husband. And it was just meh. I didn't love the characters. I didn't love the situation. It didn't have that charm and quirk that made me love Fangirl and Almost Midnight and Carry On. So I think maybe Rainbow Rowell's adult works are just not my jam. The next book I'm getting rid of is actually one of several. I'm not going to show you all of them. I'll just hold this one up now and I'll tell you about all of them. But I'm getting rid of all of my Night World books. This is the second volume that has 3 books in it. So like all of L.J. Smith's books are kind of in these like big bind-up editions now. And I think I'm just past my Night World phase. I don't think she's ever going to finish this series. I don't know if she even writes anymore. Like, she kind of was active on her blog again for a little while, like 2 or 3 years ago, and then she stopped again. And I'm like, no, L.J. Smith, like, your writing was so integral to me. But Night World is just never going to get finished. And if I do want to reread it, I'll go to the library. I know they have copies there. So I'm getting rid of all 3 of my bind-ups. I did have all 3 of them, and I had like 1 copy. They rebound them. Hang on. I think it's actually close to the top in this thing. So they rebound them in these really gorgeous, absolutely stunning books. Like, there's no jacket. It's just this like shiny... Now I'm reconsidering. I might keep this. It's so pretty. Which one is this? What's The Chosen? What's The Chosen? Armed with a wooden stake, martial arts, and the will to resist a vampire's mind control, Rochelle struggles to avenge her mother's death in The Chosen. Then she meets Quinn, her soulmate, who's part of the world she has vowed to destroy. I remember liking that one. Okay, new plan. I'm keeping this, but I'm still getting rid of all of my bind-ups because they're taking up so much space on my bookshelf, and they're not pretty. So at one point I was going to try to rebuy all of them in this edition. I might still try to do that. Maybe I'll reread this one and kind of see how I feel. I do still like L.J. Smith's writing style. I recently reread The Forbidden Game, which was always my favorite series of hers. And it stood up. It definitely stood up. So I'm in a quandary. The next book I'm getting rid of is Salt to the Sea by Rudis Petties. This is, I think, the only book in this whole stack that I haven't read. I just don't love historical fiction, and I think I really don't like historical fiction centered on war. It's really difficult for me to read, and it's not worth it to me to try to struggle through. I know this is great. I know everyone loves this. I know everyone loves Rudis Petties, but I think I'll try to read some of her work that isn't wartime historical fiction, because I think there's one, maybe two. I don't know. I don't want to read this. I've had this on my shelf since like September or October and never have once had the desire to pick it up. So I'm not going to. And that's that on that. Okay, one bag down, because that was the smallest bag that only had like 4 books in it. Let's keep going. The next book I'm going to be getting rid of is Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. I liked this, and some of the poems did speak to me more than others, but not enough for me to keep it. Like, I didn't even have the desire to annotate it. Like, there's nothing written in this book. It's good. If you're interested in poetry, I would recommend like getting this from a library or something first and seeing how you feel about it, because especially poetry, like, books are expensive, but especially poetry books, when you get so few words, it's literally less bang for your buck. So maybe go to the library, borrow it from a friend, see how you feel, and if you do really love it, that's awesome, and you love the whole thing, great, go buy your own copy. But if there's maybe only a couple that speak to you, then copy them down in your bullet journal or something and call it a day. The next books that I'm getting rid of is an entire series. It's the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. I can't hold them up. They're so cumbersome. Okay. We're fine. Here they are. I actually do like this series, and I've been debating for a while whether I was going to reread it or not, and I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna reread it and see how I feel, and then if I want to unhaul them, then I will. But I've just decided I'm gonna unhaul them, have more space on my shelves, and if I do feel like rereading them, the library's free. The next book I'm going to be getting rid of is A Tyranny of Petticoats, edited by Jessica Spotswood, and with short stories by a lot of really great authors. I've actually met one of the authors who has a book in here, Sandra Mitchell. She also was the editor for All Out. Here. The untold stories of queer teens throughout the ages. She came and spoke at the school that I taught at. I had her come talk to my classes, which was very cool. The kids loved her, but that's not a good enough reason to keep this book, especially because she didn't sign it or anything. I liked her story. I liked some of the other stories in here, but this was mostly forgettable for me. Again, largely because it's mostly historical fiction, which I don't like. The next book I'm going to be unhauling is Dumplin' by Julie Murphy. This is another one that I thought was fine, not good enough to keep, and now the movie exists. So if I really want to relive this story, I will watch the movie, which is like less than 2 hours long, instead of spending however many hours it is rereading the book, because I liked the movie better anyway. And the next book I'm going to be unhauling is The Gilded Wolves by Roshni Chokshi. It kind of hurts me because this book is so beautiful. This is the Owl Crate edition. I like this, and I like the regular cover. I like the gold, and I like it when it has the silver and the blue. But I really didn't like this book. I cannot justify keeping this book when I know I won't continue with the series just for the cover. Like, yes, she's beautiful. The Naked book is also, like, there she is. It's so gorgeous, but I can't. I really dislike this book so much, so I can't. I can't keep it, even though it hurts my heart to be getting rid of it, because it's so lovely to look at, but it's just not in the cards for me. The next book I'm going to be unhauling is the Wordsworth Companion to Literature in English. My grandpa gave this to me. I don't know why. Okay, I lied when I said that whatever other one was the only book I hadn't read. I also haven't read this, and I'm not going to. I think it might just be like a glossary. It's literally just like a glossary. It's not even... I thought it was a collection of short stories, like kind of like textbooks. Like those, the Norton anthologies that I had in college, but it's not. It's literally just like this famous author and like a short biography or this actor or this poet. I don't want this. What am I gonna do with this? I appreciate my grandpa for giving this to me, but I have no use for this, so it's gonna go somewhere else where someone else will hopefully have a use for it. The next book I'm going to be getting rid of is The Girl in 6E by A.R. Torr. This is a thriller about a girl who has homicidal tendencies, and so she has locked herself in her apartment for 3 years. I had to look it back. 3 years. She hasn't left her apartment in 3 years because she thinks she's going to kill someone if she leaves. And she's a cam girl, and she realizes that one of her clients has these fantasies that she thinks is going to leach into real life. And I did like this. It was good. This author also writes erotica under the name Alessandra Torr. So this does have some sexy times in it, but it is primarily a thriller. I think I've just decided that I'm not going to buy thrillers anymore because I am not excited about them after I've read them. Like, unless it's really, 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 really good, I'm not going to reread a thriller or a mystery. Once I know what happens, I'm like, okay, I did it, I read it. So this is one that was good, I liked it, but not good enough to keep and reread. The next book I'm going to be unhauling is Amy and Roger's Epic Detour by Morgan Matson. I think this was her debut novel, if I'm not mistaken, but I might be. So if I'm wrong, tell me in the comments, I guess. I don't care that much. This was cute. It was fun. Again, not something I'm gonna reread. I liked, there's like pictures in here. Morgan Matson actually went on the road trip that she's writing about in this book, so all the pictures are pictures that she took, which I think is really cool. I liked the story. I thought it was cute. I thought it was fun. But it's kind of your basic contemporary romance, so not something I'm going to be rereading. And the final book I'm going to be unhauling kind of hurts my heart a little bit. It's The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. When I was little, I feel like, I don't know if this is actually true or if I just had this impression in my head when I was a kid, but I thought that everyone loved The Little Princess and nobody liked this book, but I liked this one better. But maybe that's not true. I don't know. And this was definitely my favorite children's classic for a long time. I was actually in the musical version of this, which, if you were surprised to hear that there is a musical of The Secret Garden, I was too, when our theater teacher in high school was like, hey, this is the musical this year. And I was like, what? It's good, it's cute. I have kept it for a long time because I thought I would reread it, but I'm just not as interested in children's classics as I used to be because I am no longer a children. So, again, if I really have the desperate urge to reread this book, it'll be at the library so I can get it there. That's my unhaul. I should have filmed this video before I put them in their bags because now I have to put them back into their bags. But this was fun. I unhaul pretty regularly because if I'm not excited about a book, I'm not keeping it. I only have the one bookshelf. It's this one. Plus my TBR shelf, which is out in the living room. I share it with my roommate, but I'm constantly reading books and putting them on the shelf or immediately setting them aside because I'm not going to keep them. So I kind of had this cycle of books coming in and out pretty frequently, so I have to unhaul. I like doing unhauls. I hope you guys like them. That was a lot of books. Not the biggest unhaul I've ever done, but decent sized. That's all my books. That's it. I got a little distracted, I'm sorry. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, that's what YouTubers say. And I'll see you next time. Bye!